Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Creative Differences podcast, the podcast that will one day get back to consistent uploads. I am Dallas, and I'd just like to know, what are Welsh people trying to prove with those names? Please help me.
I'm Colin, and I would like to note something that everybody already knows, but like, standards of beauty fucking suck.
Oh, yeah.
Probably shouldn't say the F word because I think we're within the first minute. So, standards of beauty are terrible. Let's go with that.
I'm Demi, and The Black Cauldron is literally in my top 10 favorite Disney animated movies. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Some of those a little bit less than usual lately. Today, we are doing a Fancast Friday for the Chronicles of Prydain, or for those of you who don't know what that is, Disney had this movie out years ago called The Black Cauldron, and that is part of the Chronicles of Prydain series. So, that's what we're doing today. We're doing the books, not the Disney movie.
To be clear, we are fancasting the books that the movie is based on. We are not fancasting the movie because Disney is struck, and we don't do that.
Although Disney does have the rights, and I'm out here like, you promised me a live action almost 10 years ago, and there's been no news since. And I'm very sad
like one of those things where they promised it, and then there wasn't really much of a reception, and they said, you know what? Maybe not.
It was
Maybe
like,
we just redo Moana.
They were like, we're developing it. And I'm like, cool, that's great. These books would make fantastic live action movies or animated movies, either way. And just nothing.
It's funny you say that, because as I was doing my fan cast, I was thinking, is mine animated? Because a lot of it was based on who has a cool voice, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Yours could be animated. I don't know. These are fan casts, man.
It might be. Also, Gabby's not here. She took a look at these Welsh names and said, I'm not dealing with that. And
the funny thing is, Gabby usually would deal with those Welsh names, more so than any of us.
Gabby is the cunning linguist of the group.
But Gabby not being here is the reason why we are once again not doing our top 5 favorite books. We're going to get to it, guys, we promise. But Gabby got sick. So here we are again.
We keep trying. We know we owe you that episode. We keep trying to record it. Gabby won't show up.
And I'm excited to do it. I'm already prepared.
I'm pretty sure I'm ready at this point.
I'm not at all.
I've had so much time.
I wrote everything out already.
Yeah, but it's such an enormous question.
The longer that we take to do this, the more and more likely I am to change out some of the books on my list. So I would like, because I'm reading more now. So I would like us to get to this.
Gabby, get it together
before I change my mind. Anyway, let's get this started, shall we?
Let's get it.
Give us the rule or
also, Fancast Friday. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can go to YouTube. You can see pictures of the characters. You can see pictures of the actors. That's probably it. Demi might throw in another little surprise for you. That's up to Demi. We'll find out.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Depends on my inspiration.
Yeah.
But again, remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys.
Yes, because if everyone does that, we can stop asking you to.
That would be great.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, so technically we wouldn't stop asking because hopefully we'd be getting new people and then we could ask them, but...
You're right,
but
guys.
We could, maybe.
We might take a week off of asking. All right, guys. So let's start off with our first character, which is Taran. A farm boy with a desire for adventure, Taran is charged with taking care of the oracular pig, Hinwen, which draws him into the conflict of the wider world of Prydain when she escapes. He's brave, though occasionally, in his early youth, impulsive and foolhardy, and harbors an intense desire to prove his heroism through noble and warrior-like acts. Much of the series centers on Taran's search for and validation of his own worth as seen by both himself and others. Dallas, who you got?
All right.
Hold on 1 second.
What's
I have a
up?
question.
Yes.
How does the pig oracle?
It sees the future.
But how does it communicate that?
So I think if I remember correctly, in the movie, they get a bowl of water or just like a body of water, basically. And when the pig looks into the water, there's like a little ritual or something. When it looks into the water, you can see the vision in the water.
Sounds pretty cool. That's very magical.
Nice.
I don't know if that's directly from the book, but that is how it works in the movie.
In my version, the pig goes, oink, oink, nigga, they coming.
All right, lassie.
Anyway, Taran. So, yeah. Demi sent us a link. It was like, hey, this is the wiki for this story. And I was like, bet, thanks. And then I started reading and getting my nerd bag, nerd pocket, as Colin calls it. I was like, okay, Welsh, sure. And I was like, wait, I don't know any Welsh teenage actors.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's expand a little bit. Let's go British. And I ended up on Noah Jupe, who is British, even though I've never seen him play British because he's always playing American.
Is that one of the Stranger Things kids?
No,
it is not. Noah Jupe is the kid from Honey Boy.
Whoa.
He is the son from A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. He gets his foot caught in the bear trap and screams the most blood-curdling scream that I've seen in a movie in a while.
Really? Didn't Jacob Tremblay have like a blood-curdling scream in
Dr. Sleep?
Dr. Sleep,
That's
yes.
up there too. They were competing. But yeah, Noah Jupe was a really good actor. He is British. And I want to see him in some more stuff. I haven't seen him in enough stuff, but I know that he's a good actor. And I was like, he could be a hero, probably. Why not? Give him a sword. Give him whatever Taran does. Let him do it. Noah Jupe.
Colin, who you got?
Oh man, that justification felt like it was almost on my level. So I was looking at this and I was like, dark-haired white boys, there are a lot of them and I don't know how to pick one. So then Demi was like, you can cast a person of color. And I was like, you know what? I could cast a person of color. They could be a bit old for the role, but I don't really care. So
that's your style.
I cast Defero Wunatai, who plays Bear in Reservation Dogs.
We love Bear.
Because he's great. And just like looking at him, he could be like a beautiful warrior going out to save the world.
I can see it.
He's also a real good actor, so I feel like he has the range. Does he have the accent? Probably not. But you know what? That's what vocal coaches are for.
Yeah, why not? This is your story. You could.
It's also a fantasy world, so who says they need an accent? Let's get out of this
That's true.
This very stereotypical tropey version of what fantasy has to look like.
Given that this one is so buried in Welsh mythology, it feels like...
I don't know if I agree with that, because Shadow and Bone is delves heavily in Russian culture, and yet nobody on that show is Russian.
Also, Prydain is inspired by Welsh stuff, but it's a fictional place.
Wait, hold on. Is no one on Shadow and Bone Russian? No one?
Like the characters?
There's at least...
There might be
there's
a couple.
One. I think Ivan and Fflewddur might be Russian.
That
one
sounds
of them.
Russian.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Alina Starkov. That woman is not Russian.
I mean, what? She could be. I don't know. Well, she's also not supposed to be full Russian, is the point. She's supposed to be half Russian and half some part of Asia. I'm not sure which.
For sure. But yeah,
anyway.
But I'm they don't talk with Russian. I mean, a couple of people talk with
right.
Eastern European accents, but they're not Russian. So
yeah,
I just feel like
it's not a necessity.
Yeah,
I like it for the ties to the lore and all that stuff, but you don't need it.
Not necessary. Anyway, my choice for Taran is Jacob Tremblay.
Hey, we're just talking about Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah, because I love Jacob Tremblay. He's one of my favorite child actors of right now. And I just feel like he's such a huge Star Wars fan, such a huge MCU fan. He's a fan of all these heroic type movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring up Star Wars because I mentioned Taran is a farm boy with a desire for adventure. Luke Skywalker. But also farm boy with a desire for adventure is a really, really big trope within fantasy, obviously. But Jacob is just a huge Star Wars fan. And I'm just yo, he's the perfect candidate for something like that, where he gets to be the hero, where he gets to start off as the really basic kid who lives a very ordinary life. And oh, look, now I'm off on an adventure. Jacob Tremblay would be great at that. And he would have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I just want him to get that opportunity. Taran feels like the perfect character for him to play. He's also he's in the age pocket for Taran, because there is no distinctive age that's mentioned. He could be anywhere between 13 to 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people assume that Taran starts out the book series at 13 for several reasons. But yeah, I think Jacob Tremblay just has already proven that he's such a great actor. My opinion is that Leo DiCaprio would not have gotten that Oscar the year that The Revenant came out if Jacob Tremblay had been nominated for Room, because Jacob Tremblay's performance in Room is masterful, and the boy was 7. So he's been showing up adult actors for years now. He has a ton of range. Like I said, Room is a very tragic movie that he and Brie Larson are carrying together. And then we've got him playing Robin on Harley Quinn.
He's good.
So he's really good at what he does. He would be perfect for Taran.
Also, speaking of him and adult actors, you brought up Dr. Sleep. And one of my favorite stories about Dr. Sleep is that in the one scene that he's in, when, spoiler alert for Dr. Sleep, if you don't want to get spoiled, fast forward 30 seconds. I don't know how long I'm going to talk about it. He gets viciously murdered. And what's her name? I want to say Rebecca Ferguson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
She's the villain. She burst out into tears because of his performance. He was screaming. It's rough to watch. I love that movie, but man, that scene is painful. But yeah, once he started going, she was like, oh my God, I need a moment. People started crying and he was chilling. He got out. He was like, oh, no, we're good. Acting. But
that's
the kid is
boy.
very talented.
He's so talented. Also, honorable mention to Grant Feely, who actually does play young Luke Skywalker on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and he's also like 12, which means he's also like perfect age range for Taran. Honorable mention, but Jacob Tremblay, that's my boy, that's my dude, that's my Taran. So we're gonna move on to Princess Eilonwy of the Royal House of Lear, who is capable of performing minor enchantments and of holding her own in a fight. She befriends Taran while they're imprisoned at Spiral Castle. She's obstinate, outspoken, contentious, and fiery when roused to anger, but also cares deeply about animals and the suffering of people. Dallas, who you got?
All right, so I was looking for Welsh people. I don't know any Welsh teenagers. We're back to that. I went British again. So my princess Eilonwy is Millie Bobby Brown. Yes, she is one of the Stranger Things kids. You all know that. But also, she's fantastic at acting. So the reasons are kind of similar to Noah Jupe, except I've seen her act more. She's just so good. You've seen her play Eleven. You've seen her play Sherlock Holmes' little sister, Enola Holmes. You've seen her run around with King Kong or Godzilla or both. I don't remember. She's been all over the place, and she's always good. Are you trying to remember which one she was?
Yeah,
in?
it was.
I think it's Godzilla versus Kong.
No, it is Godzilla versus Kong. I was trying to remember which one of the monsters she was following around. I want to say it was Godzilla.
I think that was Godzilla.
I think so.
Oh, she was in King of the Monsters too. So yes, Godzilla.
Yeah, she's old girl's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, great cast in that movie. But yeah, she's fantastic. She's British. She could do whatever the princess got to do. Fight, run, hide, fight. She's great. Millie Bobby Brown, Princess. Colin, who's your princess?
What? Bro, if you think that's bad, the one with all the F's in it, I'm out.
God.
I'm literally out. Anyway, my princess is Storm Reed.
Hey,
it felt like if I
nice.
was starting with a person of color, might as well just keep that shit going.
Love that.
And
Keep it going.
It's one of my favorite
Storm
tropes.
Reed is great. I don't know that I've seen her in that much, honestly, but what I have seen her in, she's great.
She's wonderful
And,
in
like,
everything that she's done.
It's also just like someone named Storm playing a princess is fucking awesome. I just want that.
Big facts.
Storm Reed has one of the best names in Hollywood.
Really good.
She really does.
Such a good name. Yeah, she's fantastic in A Wrinkle in Time. That was the first thing I think
Mhm.
anybody probably saw her in
Yeah,
her career.
definitely for me it was.
And then she's wonderful. Oh my God, she's wonderful on Euphoria. Just like sometimes it's like there's not enough screen time for this character because what her character has to go through is insane. Because she plays Zendaya's younger sister, so she has to deal with kind of like she's the sibling who has to deal with the fact that your older sibling is a drug addict. So everything that they do garners attention because she needs that attention.
Right.
But what happens when your older sibling gets all that attention for bad reasons? And like, how do you grow up with that? How does that impact you? And it's like, oh, there's not enough screen time for you. They did a lot of really good stuff with her in season 2, though, that I really appreciated. And then she's great on The Last of Us.
She is.
For the one episode she's in.
She has such a great career because we all, to an extent, watch different things. And we can all see her in different things. Because if you're into horror, she's in Invisible Man. If you're into slightly less scary but really aggressive horror, she's in The Last of Us for a bit. She's in Missing, if you want to watch a thriller.
Oh, she's great in Missing.
She's fantastic. It's her movie.
Yeah, she has to hold the movie on her own.
She's in Wrinkle in Time, if you want to get in your fantasy book bag. Not book bag like a backpack book, you know, a book
Fantasy book
bag.
/ bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got range. She's everywhere. She's great. We love it. We love Storm Reed.
All right. Speaking of black actresses,
Hey.
I have 2. So my first one is Akira Akbar.
Hey, Ashley.
Probably most well known for Captain Marvel and for Bel Air.
Yeah.
Because she's wonderful. She's great. She was so adorable in Captain Marvel when she was playing the younger version of Monica Rambeau. And I think that was the first time I ever saw her in anything. She's just super adorable, super cute, very charismatic. And then now she's playing Ashley Banks, a.k.a. the character that was my favorite on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They're starting to give her more stuff to do on Bel-Air, thank God.
It's true.
And Akira Akbar is really good at playing Ashley so far. As Ashley, she's got like this older than my years kind of vibe about her. Like, it's like, dude, you're like 13, go have fun. Like, that's basically her storyline is you're 13, go have fun.
Right.
You don't have to worry about all these like really adult things. I mean, you kind of do because climate change is important and stuff like that. And, you know, rights for marginalized communities. And she's a little activist.
Yeah.
She's out to save the world. So it makes her a little wise beyond her years in a way. And I think Eilonwy kind of has a little bit of that in her, especially since she's being locked in a prison at the age of like 12, 13 because she's been kidnapped. Yikes. But also like Eilonwy's all about trying to save people and trying to help people. I feel like Akira could bring that to the character. The other actress that I have on here is Ever Anderson, who is probably most well known for Black Widow and for Peter Pan and Wendy. Ever blew me away with just 5 minutes of Black Widow. She was so good at playing a young version of Natasha Romanoff and was immediately very just engaging in her performance and very good at like the sad aspect of Natasha, but also managing to bring like a childlike one. Well, I mean, she's a child, or at the time she was a childlike wonder to Natasha in a way that we've never seen Natasha have wonder before.
Right.
It was very easy to see, oh, this is a person who once was a child, but also there's something else in there that's not being allowed to be a child. Something that is being destroyed as we go along. This is a person who's going to have a very tragic life. But also Peter Pan and Wendy, which is a movie that I absolutely adored. I loved that version of Peter Pan, in part because of their version of Wendy and the way that Ever Anderson plays the character. She's very good at being able to play that in between of being a child, but being on the verge of being an adult. Like, I am a kid, but there are parts of me that are still, that I've matured because I'm getting older. Like that very interesting transitional phase of being an adolescent. And she's really good at it, and she's so charming, and there's like a fun aspect to playing Wendy, and I just think that she would be really good at playing Eilonwy. Also, I needed actresses who would be around Jacob Tremblay's age, because I think Taran and Eilonwy have a bit of a thing, but at the very least they also become like really, really good friends, and she's supposed to be about a year younger than Taran.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my two choices. Ever Anderson is also the daughter of Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. All right, that takes us to our next character, which is Fflewddur Fflam. Yes. An aspiring bard, wanderer, and sometime ruler of a small cantref in the northeast of Prydain. After failing his trials for the Council of the Bards, he was given an enchanted harp whose strings break whenever he lies or exaggerates the truth. He's a brave and capable warrior with a gift for braggadocio and a distinct fear of magic. Dallas, who you got?
All right. Flam. Why do we need two Fs?
Fflewddur Fflam, but
What? Like,
I don't know why it's two
one
Fs.
of them does the job.
I didn't know why.
It's just,
I never knew there were two Fs until we started saying that we were going to fan cast this. And then
when
I was like, wait, what?
I started watching the show Welcome to Wrexham, and that team is in Wales, and they will do this thing where they show American slang, the English term, and then the Welsh term. And the Welsh term is always just like somebody's keyboard got stuck when they were typing the words. And it's just like, wait, too many letters. But all right, Fflewddur Fflam. All right, Welsh. I found one. This is where we get Welsh in my cast.
Because adults.
Yeah, it's easier to find adults than it is to find teenagers, which is good. Protect the kids. Taran Egerton, because Fflewddur Fflam is a bard. He has a harp. Taran Egerton can sing.
True.
He can act. He's charming. He can do anything that I think Fflewddur Fflam needs to do. And he can do it well. And he's Welsh. He was in Singing Up a Storm as a criminal gorilla, or a gorilla who didn't want to be a criminal. It's a whole thing. Watch the movie. It's pretty good. He played Elton John. Didn't see it. Heard it's good. First thing I saw him in was obviously Kingsman.
Yeah.
That's like, he's the hero, action man, fantastic. I've loved him ever since. So yeah, he's my bard with the harp that you can't lie with. Fflewddur Fflam is Taran Egerton for me. Colin, who's your Fflewddur Fflam?
All right. So my Fast and Furious is Paul Bettany.
Nice. You're Fast and Furious.
Listen, I'm not gonna try to.
It's literally pronounced
that.
the way that it looks on screen.
Honestly, yeah, you just take off
One
the
F.
extra F in it works. It's just
It's too much.
two Fflewddur, two Flam. But yeah, tell us about why you picked Paul Bettany.
God damn. I
Two
mean,
Fflewddur, two Flam. It's great.
man's good at what he does. I believe he is British,
Yeah,
so that tracks.
that does.
I mean, I think of what's it called, A Knight's Tale.
Yes. Connectus Talus.
Plus, like from what I could see, he looks like the character. Like the character had this kind of weird, like spiky yellow hair going on. It's like, yeah, Paul Bettany kind of, yeah.
You could rock
kinda,
that.
just feels like it would work. I don't know if he can sing,
I don't
but
either. I don't know if I've ever seen.
he
or heard
doesn't
him
need
sing.
to. Somebody else can do the singing.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've never went to look.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, other people can sing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I guess that takes us to me.
It does.
It does
It do.
indeed. All right, I have two options for this as well. So my first one is Austin Butler.
Elvis.
Yes, Austin Butler's great, and I've been a fan of his since like the late 2000s, before people knew who he was. Before he was Elvis, I was like, yeah, I like that guy. He has proven himself to be a wonderful actor to the rest of the general population now, thanks to Elvis. But also just like Fflewddur is a character who needs like charisma, but also needs to be able to come off as a coward. Well, a coward in the face of magic. And I think Austin can pull that off. He's got a lot of charisma. He's just a generally good actor, but also, like you said, he also kind of like what I said, he's a really good warrior as well. As we've seen from the Dune trailer, he looks like he is kicking some butt in that movie, and I'm super excited to see that.
He's one of the Harkonnens.
Sounded like there was a bit of vitriol in the way you said Dune trailer.
Yeah, because it's not coming out this year.
Be because, yep.
It was supposed to be coming out this month. I was supposed to be seated in an IMAX theater in like 2 weeks to watch this movie, and now I have to wait until March. I'm so sad. Anyway, Austin Butler, very talented actor. Also, I think he can do music. I think he sings, and I think he does play guitar. Does
he sing in Elvis?
Oh yes, that's right. No, yeah, he sings in Elvis.
Him?
I know he sings. He is purposefully copying Elvis's voice for a couple of the numbers. I think he might play an instrument, possibly. Do not quote me on that.
Does he play the harp?
Probably not the harp, no. But I think he plays a stringed instrument of some sort. So I feel like you can transition into the harp. But yeah, that's Austin Butler. And then my second choice is Dempsey Brick, who is probably most well known for Willow. I chose him because in my head, his character Eric on Willow is the playboy prince character. So he's so charming and he's so much fun, and he just feels like what Fflewddur would be as Eric, with an added level of cowardice, because Eric is actually quite brave, I would say. Although there are moments where Eric is just like, nope, not dealing with that. Walk away, walk away. And I feel like that works for this character as well. So, and Dempsey's he's so fun and so talented and so charming on Willow that I was like, oh, he would be really good for Fflewddur Fflam. I don't know if he does music either, but acting wise, Dempsey would be perfect. And also I was looking at the picture of the character on the wiki page, and it's so much different than the animated movie version. The animated movie version is an older man.
Yeah, I saw that.
Quite older, in fact, in comparison to Taran and Eilonwy. And I do like the idea of this character being like older than the kids, but I like the age that he kind of looks in what he's supposed to be in the books. Right. And I was like, and if you're going to go for weird spiky blonde hair, Austin Butler can pull that off, but Dempsey Brick also could probably pull that off. He's close enough to blonde that I think he could do it. So, but I wanted somebody who looked like more like the character in the book. I wanted to steer away from the animated version, especially since we decided we are fan casting the book and not the movie. So that was a big, big thing for why I chose the two actors that I chose. But yeah, those are my two choices, Austin Butler and Dempsey Brick. Yeah. That leads us to Gurgi.
Gurgi.
I love Gurgi. Gurgi, a creature of unknown kind, not quite animal and not quite human. He has great agility, and while often cowardly, he could be fierce in the defense of those he loved. Taran finds him to be a nuisance at first, but they eventually become close friends. Dallas, who do you have as Gurgi?
Gurgi. So I went to the wiki. I was like, what is that?
No.
And then...
I don't like the picture on the wiki.
It's so weird.
I will stick with the animated version of what Gurgi is.
And it was like a puppy almost.
Yes, and I love him.
I was like, oh, this is cute. So I thought, okay, this is where I went to
voice actor.
Voice, like who I think has a cool voice.
That makes sense.
But also in that Venn diagram of Welsh and with the voice I like. So I landed on Matt Ryan. Not the football player, for those who think I'm talking about the quarterback.
Constantine?
Yes, Constantine. Matt Ryan plays Constantine in live action and animation. He has a really cool voice. I think it'd be fun to hear Constantine's voice coming out of whatever the hell Gurgi is supposed to be.
An unknown creature.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He has a dope voice, and I like the way that he plays Constantine. I haven't seen him in a whole lot of other stuff. He's pretty much locked down this role, so he's pretty consistently on my screens. I just think dude has a cool voice, and dude is Welsh. If you Google Matt Ryan, the football player might come up, so you have to scroll a little bit, but it's fine. You'll find him. Constantine, Gurgi, but like not a puppy. My Gurgi is not like adorable.
Mine is.
Although I do think it'd be hilarious for that cute little puppy thing to have Constantine's voice, because of the way Constantine talks to everybody. He's such a dick. Yeah, maybe he is. Maybe he is a puppy.
Colin, who is your unknown creature?
Who's your Gurgi? Who's your Gurgle?
All right, I mean, Jesus. My Gurgi, oh my God, that just doesn't sound good. My choice is PJ Byrne.
Nice.
Because man's got a fun voice. Like, I don't know what Gurgi's vibe is, but just the sense I was getting from the wiki was like, yeah, you can do some comedic, some not. You can make that work.
Yeah.
Also, just the name Gurgi is just, it's silly.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Gurgi is occasionally a very silly character.
So you got Bolin.
Works out. Yeah. Man's got a great voice for being silly.
It's still surprising to me sometimes when I think about the fact that he plays Bolin, because I think 90% of stuff I've seen him in live action,
It's not even child
it's
appropriate.
just some raunchy, ridiculous comedy. Horrible
Even on
Bosses,
Gen V.
The Boys. It's just, he's typecast as this like skeevy, weird guy. But Bolin is not that at all.
Although
I'm
I think
like,
he's
how did you get this role?
I think he's a principal on Big Little Lies.
Like an okay principal? Or like a weird principal?
He's not skeevy.
Okay, that's good.
He's just probably not good at his job.
I can see that. That also seems to be in his typecast.
Oh, he's also the therapist in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Remember?
Yes. Yes. He be getting work.
Yeah, he does. Cool. Gurgi is one of my favorite characters from the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. He's super adorable, little puppy thing. And I wanted somebody who could bring that same weird, whimsical fantasy energy to the character, but I also knew that it had to be a voiceover. So I was like, I think I'm going to go for a voiceover actor. And who is my favorite person that does weird voices for characters? It's Matthew Mercer, who is probably most well known for Critical Role, where I get to listen to him do a bunch of weird random creature voices, as well as some really awesome villainous ones, and other cool NPC voices, but also probably well known for a lot of the dubs that he does. I think he's on the Demon Slayer dub. He's in a lot of video games. I think he's in the upcoming Final Fantasy game. The man is a prolific voice actor. Just go look him up and you've probably heard him in something. But I think he mostly does anime. Anyway, yeah, Critical Role, he does so many voices on that show. And then even, whenever he's DMing in other places as well, he just has so many that I'm like, I don't know, are you pulling these out of a hat? Like, where are you getting this from?
Nothing can stop them. No magic, no beast, no weapon. He and his fellows will soon be at our very gates.
I always hit the mark, if you know what I mean.
Every chieftain must make hard choices for the good of the clan.
But I've heard him do these really zany voices that don't sound anything like himself. I've heard his voice go high-pitched and weird for creatures. I've heard him go really deep for creatures before. I've heard him do like almost creepy childlike voices for a creature before.
All right.
Like he has such a range of voices that he can bring to the table. So it would be like one of those things where I would just be like, here's this character, here's the vibe of the character. What are you imagining? Like, what can we as a collaboration build? What voice can we create for this character? To be fair, I am also very, very, very fond of the voice that is done in the animated movie. So I would probably want something very similar to that. Mostly because I used to try and imitate that voice a lot as a kid, because it's very in the back of the throat, like Gollum, Schmeagol type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Or Stitch even. Like it's it's one of those types of voices. And I used to love Gurgi. I used to think he was so cute. And Matthew Mercer just, like I said, has so much range. He plays so many different types of characters all of the time, every week. He could be playing anywhere between 3 and 10 characters in the span of a game. And all of them will have a different voice. And they will all be unique and great. So my choice for Gurgi would be Matthew Mercer, because he's one of the best voice actors I've heard out there. And I know that he could bring the zaniness and the whimsy that I'm looking for.
It's so funny to me that the way that our interests, the way I talk about the Venn diagram, and like when you talk about when you say voice actor or voice acting, my ears perk up because I'm like, oh, that's my
But I always
that's
bring
my
up
realm.
somebody you never talk
And you always bring about someone from Critical Role or anime or video games, and it's like there are a lot of people who do video games and more Western animation stuff, but I'm just like, I don't watch anime like that, and I don't really know Critical Role people.
See,
So it's like
it's wild because I would bet money that you have heard Matt Mercer do a voice in multiple things and just didn't know it.
probably, yeah.
He is so prolific.
But I was looking at the stuff that he's done, and it is, like Demi said, a lot of video games, a lot of anime dubs. He's done so many video games. And it's like, I'm sure I've played these games, but when I'm watching, let's say, Western animation, I usually I recognize a voice. I'm like, oh, snap, I know that voice. I know that voice. I know that voice. And then I'm like, ooh, which person is Demi going to bring up? It's like, oh, I don't know that one.
No.
But I do know him by name because of how often Demi brings him up.
Yeah. Also, Legend of Vox Machina, which is technically his show. He does do one of the villainous voices on the first season. He's really good at it. I think he plays a villainous character in the second season too. So it's fun. They just throw different characters at him because he's the DM. So it's just like, all right, well, we got to find something for you to do this season.
Right.
So, and sometimes he just plays random background miscellaneous voices as well. Yeah. I'm like looking through his IMDb right now, and it is like a lot of video games and a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Western cartoons, except for The Legend of Vox Machina, but that's his thing.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a voice acting blind spot for me.
All right, let's move on to the next character, which is Prince Gwydion, which is a character who is not in the animated movie. So I had no idea who this character was when I wrote this down. Prince Gwydion, a mighty warrior and minor enchanter, Gwydion is a model of unclouded heroism. His judgment always rational and well balanced. His manner kindly and benevolent. Even his flashes of anger are righteous. Taran befriends Gwydion on his journey to find Henwin. Yeah, this character is not in the movie. I was like, who is this? I've never heard of you before.
Interesting.
And now I'm like, I need to read these books. Dallas, who you got for Gwydion?
All right. So went to Wiki, looked at the pictures, like, oh, this dude, he's swole. He looks like he eats 5 dozen eggs for breakfast or whatever.
I was about to make a Gaston reference.
Because Luke Evans, to my surprise, is Welsh. I didn't realize that. But yeah, he's Gaston. He's swole. He could probably punch a building to death.
He can carry a barge. He's roughly the size of a barge.
He's roughly the size of a barge. He's great at expectorating. I don't really know the song that well, so I'm grasping at straws here. But you guys get it. Luke Evans, look at him. Also,
well, when he bulks up.
Yeah, if he's gonna Luke Evans it up. Also, my version in my head, I haven't seen the Black Cauldron, but
I mean, he's not in that movie, so it doesn't matter.
Creepy adjacent.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Okay, good.
The Black Cauldron is probably considered like one of the darkest, if not the darkest, Disney animated movie ever made.
I can see that because I was looking at some scenes. I saw the Horn King, and I'm like, ooh.
That's why that's fun. That's why it didn't do well.
Oh, right. They're scaring the children.
Which is fun. Okay, so the Black Cauldron is one of those movies where like I loved watching it as a kid. I used to watch it on repeat over and over and over again. I would play the VHS and then I would rewind it immediately after I was finished watching it.
Adorable.
I would watch it like 3 or 4 times a day at one point. That's one of those movies where I'd say, "Oh, I loved that movie as a kid. It's one of my favorite movies." And and like Jesse, our friend Jesse, will go, "And you don't like horror movies now?"
Right.
I was about to say.
And I'm like, "No, I don't like horror. I don't like being."
That should have been your gateway. That should have been your Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So everybody's always like, the Black Cauldron and Labyrinth should have been my gateways because there are such creepy elements in those things.
Right.
And I just never didn't happen.
Interesting.
I didn't find them creepy. I didn't find them scary.
Okay. I say all this to say, I want this movie to be creepy. And
you'll be following the good
if you
right
have
path.
seen the new Pinocchio, one of the new Pinocchios, there's a scene.
I'm like, which one?
It's in our, it's actually what starts the cold open for our reaction video of it. Pinocchio's in that weird place with all the badass kids, and Luke Evans pops out from the ground.
I remember it.
To sing at him, and then just creepily fades back into the trap door.
Something tells me my father might not be too happy.
Don't say these things out loud. People are just gonna,
Play, time to play.
You are terrifying. I love that so much. And it's so creepy and so hilarious.
I forgot.
And I love it.
All about that.
It's so good.
It might be my favorite cold open that we've ever.
It's so good.
That one and Peter Pan are like my favorite cold opens that we've ever done.
Man. But yeah, doesn't really have anything to do with this. I just wanted to bring it up.
No, it adds to the creep factor. It does. It really, really does.
It was so funny. What are you doing? But yeah, Gwydion, Luke Evans, Gaston.
Colin, who you got?
All right. So, I was looking at the wiki because I know these people. And I look at Gwydion, and really what comes to mind most readily is the man has Dilf energy. And so if you're going to cast somebody with Dilf energy, I'm going to cast Pedro Pascal.
Interesting.
For a number of reasons. A, Dilf energy. B, he's played a prince, like my favorite prince in like anything.
That's
I love
true.
Oberyn so much. So it's like...
Oberyn.
The man's got range. Plus, I thought he could rock the gray really well because it seems like Gwydion has that interesting, like, salt and pepper hair. I don't even know what. Does he dye that? Like, girl, what is your secret?
He's supposed to have a gray wolf sort of look to him.
Yeah. I feel like Pedro Pascal could absolutely do that.
Because what can't Pedro Pascal do?
Well, yes. I just, take Last of Us Pedro Pascal, put him in a wig, maybe cut down on the panic attacks a bit, and you're good.
I'd watch it.
All right. My choice is just me typecasting. I chose Henry Cavill.
Okay.
I mean, he looks
That
like,
makes sense.
looking at the pictures, like, yeah. that
I
fits.
mean, he's played a warrior with white hair before.
Yeah.
That's-
I looked at that picture. I read the description. They even say that the character has like a wolf look to him. And who is Geralt of Rivia?
The famous white wolf.
Oh, look at that.
I'm a little upset that you didn't also use this opportunity to cast Joey Beatty as
I thought you were going to cast Joey Beatty.
I thought one of you guys was going to do that.
I thought you were going to be the one to do it. And it didn't even occur to me until I was reading it out loud to you guys that Joey Beatty would have worked for Fflewddur. But no, yeah, Henry Cavill for Gwydion. It's Geralt of Rivia, but he's funnier and nicer. And so basically, have Henry Cavill use his regular voice and dress him up the way you dress up Geralt of Rivia. And I think we've got it. I think we call it a day.
It looks like it works.
Let Henry Cavill be his typical charming self, like princely, because Geralt is not princely in any manner. But like maybe more like Superman Henry Cavill, or Theseus Henry Cavill from Immortals, Sherlock Holmes Henry Cavill. Listen, Man from Uncle Henry. Listen, there's a lot of charming Henry Cavill to choose from.
Yeah.
Pick one. Actually, Superman Henry Cavill actually really, really works because he's supposed to be this. Gwydion is the model of unclouded heroism. That is Superman.
That's Superman.
Superman.
That's perfect.
Yeah, Superman is a hero 101. Like, he is the ultimate superhero. This description is totally Superman. Always, his judgment is always rational and well balanced. His manner is kindly and benevolent. His flashes of anger are righteous.
That is the most Boy Scout of Boy Scout.
Yes.
Like,
it's literally just Boy Scout Henry Cavill, but in his Geralt clothing. I love that for me. This sounds...
That's awesome, honestly.
Yeah, this is perfect, actually. Henry Cavill for Prince Gwydion. That is my call. And also, Henry Cavill is so big on doing his own stunts. And with Gwydion being such a great warrior, your stunt sequences would be fantastic. They would be amazing. Also, he's a minor enchanter. Guess who else is a minor enchanter? Geralt of Rivia. So, literally, Henry
It works.
It just works. It's the perfect typecasting I could ever do, because I just took a combination of all the things that Henry Cavill has ever done and put it in this character. So yeah, I don't need to explain any further why Henry Cavill is great for this role. His filmography speaks for itself. He's also apparently about to do a Highlander reboot with Chad Stahelski. So
I didn't know about that, but that sounds dope.
I'm sure that those action sequences are going to be killer.
To be fire.
Oh, that's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, Chad Stahelski being the action director that he is, Henry Cavill being super into doing his own stunts and making sure that he knows all of his sword movements and stuff like that. It's going to be beautiful.
Yo, that's going to be dope.
I'm going to watch the original
Sounds
first.
like
and
a
then
throwback.
It does. It sounds like a throwback. Yeah, anyway, like I was saying, Henry Cavill, he's perfect. I got you. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next character, and it is the Horned King, who very much is in the movie. The Horned King, a mighty and much feared war leader and the champion of Arawn Death-Lord. The Horned King is a man given to acts of cruelty and malice, for whom death was a black joy. No man knows his name, nor has seen his face. Dallas, who's your creepy Horned King, dude?
All right. Speaking of black joy, it's about time I got a black person on here.
Okay, that's a choice.
So I wanted someone Welsh with a scary voice, and I didn't have any.
Ooh.
So I expanded to who's British and can sound scary, and I landed on Idris Elba because
Nice, that's a good one.
I've seen him play Shere Khan, and it's terrifying.
Heard him play
He
Shere
definitely
Khan.
sounds scary.
I've heard him say Shere Khan. And yeah, he can definitely sound scary. He has a really good commanding voice. Like, he could walk into a room and command it just by talking.
Mm-hmm.
Just by talking.
Yeah.
He's Idris Elba. Like, you don't ever really need a reason to justify casting Idris Elba. It's
You
Idris
don't,
Elba.
honestly. He's just that good.
Yeah. His name, his work speaks for itself. It's freaking Idris Elba. It's never a bad choice. Unless you're casting, like, a little Asian kid or something that just doesn't fit the role, you know?
That'd be a little strange.
A little weird. But it's for a scary man who either wears a horned mask or is an actual demon. They both work. Idris Elba.
Colin, who you got?
All right. This one was fun. I got Doug Jones.
Oh,
because he's
interesting.
Doug Jones.
He does all
Because I figured, okay.
the spooky, tall, lanky characters. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, man's a great actor. Like, whether he's playing like creatures or whether he's playing, characters with dialogue, like, Abe Sapien, man is good. Man is really good. And Horn King, I was looking at him and I was like, man, I don't know what the vibe is. I don't like it, but I do like, you know what I mean? Like it's unsettling. And Doug Jones can do unsettling so well.
Yes.
So like slap some antlers on that man and call it good. He's going to deliver.
Is Doug Jones the pale man with the eyes and the hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Big creepy.
Basically, I think he might be the body of the fawn. I don't know if he is the voice of the fawn. But if you see a lanky, creepy creature, it's probably Doug Jones.
He's also the only man to have ever horrified me to the point of tears.
In what context?
What?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He plays the gentleman, and that's literally the only thing that has ever been scared me to the point of like crying. And it creeps me out to this day. I don't even like looking at the cover of my season 4 DVD of Buffy because he's on it. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, he is the fawn and the pale man. Yeah, man, he slaps. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's also great as the Silver Surfer.
Oh, snap. He's a Silver Surfer?
Oh my God, he was the Silver Surfer?
He's the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he's good.
That was the first time I ever knew who Doug Jones was because I was like, oh, there's a dude who's actually dressed up with silver paint on him or something.
Right. And it's not Lawrence Fishburne.
And I discovered that that's like legit what he does for a living. It's just he does a lot of creature stuff. And I was like, oh, that's really cool for a job. I didn't know people would do that.
He's good at it.
He's very good at it. So good at it. He's also very funny. There's this like really short parody interview that I've seen with him in it. And it's phenomenal. It's great. It's so funny. It's him and Olivia Taylor-Dudley, who I love, and another actress. They're very funny.
Dope.
Yes. Okay. The Horned King. I went for voice actor, or I went for mostly more on a voice actor side of things, even though this actor does live action as well, because I was like, this character would, for me, the performance is mostly in the voice. So I chose Sam Witwer, who is has done a lot. Probably most well known for
the name.
Probably most well known for playing Maul on all the Star Wars animated stuff. He was on Smallville as Doomsday.
I know they did Doomsday on Smallville.
They did. Gosh, what else is Sam Witwer has done so much. And I've also met him. He's very nice. He took a picture with me at Star Wars Celebration. I was very happy about that. The Mist, he plays Maul in like all the recent Star Wars stuff, basically. He's in Mythic Quest, apparently. He's somebody's dad. He's done voices on Robot Chicken.
Oh yeah, it does look like he does a fair amount of live action stuff as well.
Yeah, he's Ben Lockwood on Supergirl. He was a villain on that show. He's very good at villain. He's very, very good at villain. And another reason why I chose him is that he did the voice work for General Kale on the Willow TV series for a short amount of time for episode 4. General Kale is a guy who wears a skull mask, and in episode 4, all we see is him in the skull mask.
Perfect.
It's perfect. Sam Witwer did a great job bringing back that voice of General Kale, bringing it to life once again. Also, like his performance as Maul, he's so good. There's a reason why they keep bringing him back to do that voice. He's so menacing, but also like Maul tries to convince Ezra quite often that he's not the bad guy. And he's so good at being like persuasive as Maul in a way, like even though we know that Maul is Maul, he's a bad guy, he's never going to be anything different, but there's a certain level of like emotional range that Sam Witwer brings to the character that is really well done. But he's also just really, really good at being villainous, and the Horned King is just all about being cruel and sadistic, and I feel like the General Kale thing is kind of what that is. So I think that he would be very good at the Horned King. And also he's a very good voice actor and seems very, at least with Lucasfilm, has been very willing to just be a part of like their little voice loop groups, no matter what the show or video game or movie, just to be involved. So yeah, Sam Witwer, that is my Horned King, because he would be very good at it. He's very good at playing evil people. All right, that takes us to, I don't know how to pronounce this character's name. She is not in the movie. She is in the book. This was when I decided I need to read this book. Her name is, I think it's pronounced Achren, an enchantress and former queen of Prydain who was once allied with Arawn Death-Lord. She ruled as a harsh and vengeful tyrant until Arawn displaced her. Achren is proud and ambitious, vengeful when crossed, and merciless when doling out punishment to captives or underlings. Dallas, who you get?
So it's funny because I was looking at the name and I was like, yeah, that looks like Achren, but it's Welsh. For all I know, her name is Michelle.
You right. You right. I'm sorry. I could be so wrong.
But let's say Achren because that's what it looks like. And if their names made sense, it would be Achren. To borrow from the way Colin started with Gwydion, I look at the picture. What do I see? MILF energy. Who has MILF energy? Who is Welsh with MILF energy? Narrowing it down, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh,
because
good one.
Despite what you might have thought watching Zorro, she is not Spanish.
She is not. I feel betrayed every single time I watch that movie now.
This woman is Welsh. I don't know why they cast her in Zorro.
Well, I guess her character is supposed to be Spanish, so but she's also not Spanish, so
no, not at all. But yeah, she's hot and she can act, so I get why she got the role.
She's also Morticia Adams now.
Yeah,
and she's really
MILF
good
energy.
at it.
So I was like, yeah, she's Morticia. Why not let her be a hot witch? It lines up. It works. It really, really works. But yeah, other than that, I don't have a lot else to say.
That's fair.
She's been acting for like 30 years. You know who she is. You know her work.
You've seen at least one thing she's been in.
Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Even Gen Z. You guys probably watch Wednesday.
Yeah, probably. That's my scary MILF. Colin, who's your scary magic MILF?
I didn't even think of MILF.
I didn't think MILF either.
Because I was reading the wiki, and the one part I picked up on was like, she pretends to be Eilonwy's aunt, so there's got to be something there that works. So I decided to go with Teyonah Parris.
Ooh,
interesting.
She good.
Yeah,
she good as hell.
That's true.
And I haven't seen her play like quote unquote evil.
No,
I don't think I have either.
I would like to.
I've seen her play antagonistic as Coco, but Coco's not evil. She's just antagonistic. Yeah. I would like to see it, in the words of Monique.
Yeah.
I would watch it immediately. I'd be like, yes, I am seated.
Yeah, she's good.
Absolutely. She good.
Before I get into my two choices, honorable mention to Kate Siegel, just based off of those photos of her in the fall of the House of Usher.
Honestly, if I wasn't going for Welsh, once I saw the picture
I thought you were going to pick her.
Achren or Michelle or whatever her name is.
Oh my God.
On the wiki with the silver hair, I was like, that's
her.
Oh,
that's Kate Siegel. That's old girl from House of Usher.
Oh. Plus, like, I feel like the Camille energy would work.
Camille. Yes, that's her name. That's Camille.
I didn't know you were going for the Welsh thing. So I thought you were going to pick her because she looks like that picture on the wiki with that white hair.
Very much.
Very much so. So shout out to her. Honorable mention. Y'all could pick her. We'll be happy about it. I will be happy about it because I'll finally be able to get to see her act in something. But yeah, so the two actresses that I actually did choose, though, this category has a theme. It's basically my favorite models turned actresses.
Okay.
Because I think they're like two of the best models turned actresses.
I have an idea.
Number one, Abby Lee.
Race play.
Oh, no.
More black joy.
Stop it. Abby Lee, who is probably most well known, well, on this podcast, most well known for Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
But also, she was in The Neon Demon. She was in Florida Man. She was in Old, that last M. Night Shyamalan
what
movie.
A filmography.
She has a lot of horror stuff in there, and I'm not happy about it.
She does the weird shit.
You know what? She does. And I think it's because Abby Lee just creatively just vibes with the weird stuff. Like, that's just her thing. That's her energy. And I appreciate that. Yeah, Achren, you look at the picture, the white hair, gorgeous. And I'm like, yeah, Abby Lee can definitely do white hair. She's usually pretty, very, very, very blonde. So just dye it white, I guess, or give her a white wig. I don't know how that works.
They'll figure it out.
And gorgeous. She's a supermodel, or was a supermodel. Duh. But also the character description of being ambitious and vengeful when crossed and being proud feels very, very Christina Braithwaite, which was her character on Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country is the main reason I have her on here, because she was a very good villain on that show. Always very like engaging and very interesting as a character. Like, you can never quite figure out what her deal was until she like finally tells you what she wants.
Right.
You never really kind of understand her fully. And I think that that's very interesting. I think that she would pull off the characteristics of that character that you need. Yeah. Just Christina Braithwaite is just the prime example of why I chose her for this character. It's just like, yeah, you could do that. Also, when I started seeing people fan casting her as Emma Frost, I was very upset that I was not able to fan cast her when we did it on our X-Men podcast, because I didn't know who she was at the time.
Right.
Now I do. So now I can give her the villainous role she deserves, and that would be Achren. She would be great for it. My other choice, my other supermodel turned actress who I love, Adjoa Aboah. who might be most well known for Top Boy, and Willow. Mostly on here for Willow because she plays a very normal person on Top Boy. She's one of the drug dealer's girlfriends, and she's trying to get her girlfriend to stop being in the life. She's a very normal person in that show. She's a very good actress, though. Mostly for Willow. She's not a villain on Willow, but her character, when we first meet her, could be seen like she's meant to come off as kind of the antagonist. You don't quite know what her intentions are or what she has in store for our characters. I mean, she imprisons them, for crying out loud. Well, she imprisons all of them except for one of them, and she has that one tied to a post.
All right.
So at first, she's a character whose intentions and motivations you don't quite understand or know. But she's a very, very fun and very intriguing character, something mysterious about her, and you want to know more about her. But also, she's got a lot of confidence, and you can feel that. And she has like... words are not working for me because I've been working for a month straight, and so all my words today feel very simple and not like they're getting across what I'm trying to say. But she's also got this like very interesting back and forth with characters where she knows that she's the one on top and that she's the one who's got the power.
So she's a dom.
Oh yeah, Scorpia is totally a dom. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, Joa's fantastic in that role for the 2 episodes that she's in. Also, it sounds like this character Achren gets somewhat of a redemption arc, which love that for me because Achren falls into my character type, as we like to say on this podcast.
Hot,
about
evil women.
Sure. I was thinking more ambitious women.
Sure, let's call it that.
Wow.
Well, usually the ambitious women end up being evil because they end up just stepping on whatever they want to take what they want.
You be like that sometimes.
I do.
There's a step on me thing in there somewhere.
It's there.
But I also because I myself am ambitious, I typically relate to the ambitious women characters.
Fair.
And so getting to see, this feels very much like a Morgana Pendragon or Morgan Le Fay for Arthurian legend type of character, where they're evil, but also at the end they kind of get to redeem themselves. And I prefer that. I like that for me. But yeah, I have a character type. And just by reading this personality, I was like, yep, you're that. So I was like, let me pick 2 actresses who I absolutely adore, who I would love to see like play a character that I automatically would love no matter who plays them.
Speaking of things you like to me, this actress is in one of your favorite movies, Ghost in the Shell.
No, we actually talked about this the other day.
We did. It's hilarious to me that she's in that.
Don't put that on me because you know that I...
That was your favorite movie of 2017?
God, that movie was bad. Like... Man, it's so, and part of me wants to rewatch it just so I can see Adjoa.
Yeah,
but I know she's only in one scene, so I'm like, let me just find the one scene so that I can remember the fact that she's in this movie.
Yeah, you can probably YouTube that.
I tried. It's not on there. I'm gonna have to scroll through the movie so I don't have to watch the whole thing again. God, man. Why would you bring that up?
Because this is hilarious.
What did you do?
It's just so funny that you're gonna have to be like scrolling through that movie to find her.
I need to go watch the anime because that live action was not good, and I know that the anime is probably amazing.
I've heard great things about it.
I have too, and I'm like, I need to watch it. Man, going back to Adjoa, Willow.
Yes.
Willow and Top Boy.
Yes.
Both very good shows. Go watch those instead. But yeah, my 2 choices for Achren are Abby Lee and Adjoa Boa, both very talented and both very beautiful.
Nice.
As seen by their career choices. Next up, our last character is Arawn Death-Lord. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. I'm going with it though.
Could be Mike. I don't know. This is Welsh.
Arawn Death-Lord, an evil sorcerer, former ruler of Prydain and the ruler of Anuven, the land of death. Arawn has an obsessive lust for power and is a cunning trickster, just as willing to use mendacity and deception to defeat his enemies as military force. Dallas, who you got?
All right. So previously on this episode, I was talking about trying to find Welsh people with scary voices and not being able to. So I wanted someone British who could sound even scarier
than Idris Elba,
because this guy is his boss or whatever. Ralph Ineson. He has such a dope voice. It's just so good. And when I was reading on the wiki, they're like, oh, we don't even know what this nigga looks like because he be hiding. And I was like, okay, cool. So it really doesn't matter. It's all voice for me from that point on. I was like, okay, who's just going off of voices? That's my only criteria. Voices and British. And Ralph Ineson's voice, man.
You mean this dude?
Yes.
I was going to say, we know what he looks like. He acts in things.
No. I'm saying I don't know what the character looks like.
Oh.
Because in the wiki, they're saying that people haven't seen his face.
I thought you meant Ralph. I was like,
no, I know what he looks like.
We know what that man looks like. I've seen him in a movie this year.
Yeah, he pops up and stuff all the time.
He's in my favorite show of the year. Come on.
Yeah, he's all over the place. I know what he looks like. But yeah, just going off of voice, I was like, not a lot of actors have a doper voice than that, especially for a character that's called Death-Lord. He sounds like a Death-Lord.
Off with your head. The moment you set foot in this city, you brought death to your friends. You know who she is? And you know why I can't hunt?
What was that?
Oh, yeah. This is a man whose voice, like, you don't need to do, like, you don't need to do any sound effects or anything like that to his voice. He'll just make the bass on your TV or whatever just, like, vibrate for no reason at all. He's just speaking. I
was looking on YouTube, like, finding clips of people doing, like, voice acting. I thought of Benedict Cumberbatch. She was really good as Smaug. And then the other version of Shere Khan, I was like, he's good. And I was like, what's that real deep voice nigga's name? And then I found a video of him just, I guess, summarizing the story of the Green Knight. It was A24 video.
He's reading it. He's reading the story of Green Knight.
No, it was a different video.
Oh.
He was talking about the story.
Oh, there's
a
video of him actually reading it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And even that was like, this guy's great. So yeah, he is my Death-Lord because just listen to him. It's a lot.
That's really funny because he's actually in a number of my favorite things of like literally this year. Like he's in Willow.
That's funny.
He's in Willow as Jade's father figure. He's in The Legend of Vox Machina with Matthew Mercer, who I've already mentioned today on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's in The Creator.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's in The Creator, which was funny because that was also a Willow reunion because Amar Chadha Patel is also on that.
Nice.
Also, he's in The Green Knight, which is one of my favorite movies. I love The Green Knight. He's fantastic. But yeah, that man's voice is... I think it's funny that he's not the main villain in The Legend of Vox Machina, because you would think that you can't find a voice scarier than that. But no, Lance Reddick is the main villain of that season. So
we love Lance Reddick.
Rest in peace, man. But yeah, that's a good voice. That's a good choice.
Such a great voice.
Good voice, good choice.
Yeah.
Colin, who you got?
All right. So I looked at Arawn Death-Lord and I was like, okay, it's a shadowy figure in a black cloak. You're not going to know that much about him. You're not going to see their face. I'm like, okay, I want somebody who I know can pull that off very easily and who, you know, can be a shadowy figure in a black cloak. So I'm just like, all right, Ian McDiarmid, let's call it a day.
Very fun.
Just like, yo, somehow Palpatine returned. There he is. Like, come on.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
He's been doing it for years.
And he's good at it. He's really good at it.
He's very good at it. That's a very different type of creepy voice.
If we found out that Arawn actually had like a backstory and was actually like a person before, he can do that too. Because, you know, Palpatine was a person and he was real good at doing that too in the prequels. Yeah.
He's very good.
He was out there making babies.
Yeah.
No, he was out. Oh, okay.
Hitting the skins.
We don't talk about that.
Bussing.
No.
Knocking people up.
I
don't like it. I don't like it at all. We're going to move forward from that.
Palpatine.
Once again, went for a voice act.
This is a papa.
Stop it. Stop it. Once again, went for a voice actor because, like Colin said, shadowy figure in a black cloak. I don't think we even see his face.
No.
So I was like, great. Another voice actor who I think can do a scary voice. Now, at first, I put Matthew Mercer on here too, but then I realized that I had him as Gurgi, and I was like, no, I can't do that. Even though Matthew Mercer does a great villainous voices, I probably would have had him do what he did for the first season of Legend of Vox Machina, or the second season too. Whatever. Either one is good. And then I was like, oh no, but it's okay because we have Travis Willingham, who is also on Critical Role and has done a number of different voices. He's also a voice actor. He was Superman for Batman. What is it? Batman and Superman.
Super Sons?
Battle of the Super Sons.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played Superman. And his wife played Lois Lane, which is great. I was like, I have to watch this movie immediately. He's played Thor in the Avengers cartoons. Actually, he's played Superman a couple of times. That's cool.
He also does a lot of anime stuff.
He does too, yeah. He does the older Raiden in the most recent Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. He does a lot of voice acting. So I'm not going to go through his whole
Right.
IMDb.
He's done a lot.
Because a lot. Just know that he's done a lot. He already has like a very deep voice, and then he can make it deeper and creepy and like not creepier. I'm not gonna say creepier. His character currently on Critical Role is a werewolf, so it's very fun because when he plays the character when he plays Chetney in like his normal form, his voice is very high pitched and elderly old man style of voice, very kind of shaky at times and higher pitched. It's very funny and amusing. And then when Chetney becomes a werewolf, he like goes full like throaty, like deep monster voice.
There was a time years ago where I would have just sat by my lonesome and hated you from afar. But there's a different side of me now, and he wants to.
When I was thinking of what voice actor I would want to do Arawn, if I'm not getting Matthew Mercer to do it, I'm gonna get Travis, because Travis can do the really weird, like hardcore evil deep voice too. He can also play Superman apparently, but he can also do the very monstrous
range
voice. Yes, that's what I love about the people on Critical Role. They all have so much range. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's my choice for Arawn Death-Lord. It's Travis Willingham. And that's it. Those are all of our characters for the day.
Characters.
We added Arawn at the last minute because I didn't realize that the Horned King is not actually the main villain. I was like, wait, you mean he's just the subordinate? He's horrifying in that movie. Yeah, fun fact, the movie is called The Black Cauldron.
Yes.
But The Black Cauldron is actually the third book in the series.
Saw that.
The first book is actually like the book of 3 or something. So.
Which is, yeah, why?
The Black Cauldron's a cooler title.
It is a good name. The Book of 3 doesn't sound as fun.
And I'm assuming they took a lot of liberty with changing things.
Yeah.
For that movie.
Gurgi's a puppy. The bard is.
I mean, Gurgi does fit the part human, part animal thing. Like he is humanoid in that movie, but also he looks like a puppy.
Adorable.
And he speaks like a human. So.
But wait, there's more.
Yes, Dallas. Who are your writer or director?
Who is my writer? So, like I said, creepy. The idea of the Horned King and the Death-Lord, I was like, it's gotta be at least a little bit scary. I went with Jordan Peele. And the reason I went with Jordan Peele, aside from he's really good at making things creepy, is that he wanted to do a Gargoyles movie. And
I'm upset that they're doing a live action Gargoyles series now, but they're not letting Jordan Peele do it.
I was very happy when I heard that they were doing it, and then I read the article to look for Jordan Peele's name and didn't see it anywhere, and I just got sad. But yeah, the Boulder is very conflicted on that. Yeah, Gargoyles is probably my favorite example of this genre of fantasy and swords and creatures and death lords and all that magic stuff. Gargoyles is really, really, really good. And I know that if Jordan Peele wanted to do it, he can at least work in this wheelhouse and he can scare the hell out of somebody. I know, because he's done it, and I want to see him do it with this. Also, I like finding black directors for stuff, and he's one of my favorites. So yeah, Jordan Peele.
I'm trying to think of who I would want.
Scary.
I'm trying to think of who I would want to direct this, and I can't think of who I'd want to.
I struggled for a bit because I was looking more into like this fantasy genre, and I was thinking like, who has done stuff in that I really like. But then I thought of Gargoyles, and I thought of Jordan Peele. So
I know who I would want to write it, and I'm pretty sure I would just be like John Kasdan. I would just want John Kasdan to write it, because he could do the scary tone, but he could also bring the fun 80s fantasy that I love so much to it, because he did it with Willow. But I'm like, I can't think of like who I would want to direct this. Fascinating. Interesting. I'd probably give it to a woman, just because.
Yeah, why not?
They rarely ever get to direct the big fantasy stuff.
Fair.
Who knows? Maybe I'll just give it to one of the directors of Willow just to piss people off.
That sounds like you.
Yeah. Greta Gerwig, no. She's doing Chronicles of Narnia right now.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
That is it. We did the things. Thank you for listening. Y'all are real ones. We love you. We love you all.
No, I'm giving it to Rian Johnson just because. Oh my gosh. I love that. Rian Johnson directing, John Kasdan writing.
That sounds very Demi.
It also sounds like I would make so many people mad.
Rian Johnson and Kasdan making a Black Cauldron, Chronicles of Prydain movie. Yeah. Very Demi targeted. And maybe it'll be your gateway into horror this time.
I doubt it.
I mean,
because you can insert horror into fantasy and I'll be down with it.
Yeah.
But if you
take the fantasy out.
Yeah, once you take the fantasy out, I'm not into it.
That's fair.
Because Snow White might as well be a horror movie.
That's creepy as hell. Yes, guys, thanks everybody Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io, for doing us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. For the people who didn't want to go to YouTube, I respect their choices. Demi, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube, giving us an idea for what to fancast while we wait for Gabby to decide she cares about us again.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how it is.
No, that's not it.
I don't know that.
You do.
I don't know that. What I do know is
She
we were like, yo, Gabby, you want to pop up in the Zoom? We got a Zoom. She was like, nah. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
She didn't even say no.
She didn't even say no. Gabby don't care about us. But on the people who do. Colin, thank you for making me not the only person who doesn't know anything about this in here.
I'm kind of sad.
Yeah,
Maybe we should.
got you.
Maybe we should do a reaction to this movie. I would be fascinated to see you guys react to this movie because it is one of the scarier Disney animated movies.
I can see that. I mean, after the strike's over and we can do that.
Yeah, but it's also kind of silly. And it's only an hour and a half.
If the strike's ever over.
Oh, fair.
You know how much we love doing only hour and a half
We love
movies.
a short movie around here.
We do.
It is great to react
You know what
to a
we
movie
could
that's
do,
not long as hell.
actually?
What?
Except for the most recent one, every movie in the Saw franchise is about an hour and a half. Except for the most recent one. That one's 2 hours.
You're not beating the allegations.
Oh, Colin's never beating the allegations.
I'm just saying, hour and a half movie. That's just what I thought of because I just watched them again.
Yes. But you don't like horror.
Nope.
Audience, have y'all read the Chronicles of Prydain? Prydain?
I'm pretty sure it's
It could be
Prydain.
Chronicles of Riddick. Like I said, this is Welsh. I don't know what they mean. If you're Welsh, do y'all like these names or are you just in too deep at this point and this is just your life now?
Tradition.
Yeah, tradition. You don't want to scoff at tradition. Let us know in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC, or TikTok at Creative Differences Pod. I know it's a lot. I know they're all different. This is what we are.
I just thought of who my director actually would be.
Oh, who would it be?
Okay. Movies written by John Kasdan, directed by David Lowery.
Is it the Green Knight, man?
Green Knight and Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh, yeah, that fits.
Yeah.
And maybe he'd get Ralph Ineson.
He could.
You worked with him. Yeah. If you guys want to talk to me, because it's been a while, because Colin banished me from the Taylor Swift episode, you can find me on the medias.
Is that what happened?
That is what happened.
Technically,
yes.
In a sense, yes.
Oh.
In a sense, you literally said you're not allowed to be in this episode.
Okay, then yes.
But it's fine. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. It's a King Name symbol. You can find me there. Bang, 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 bang.
Come talk to me about literally anything. I've been way too in my own head for the past month and a half. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Duck McGuck.
Duck McGuck.
Hey guys, talk to me about the Black Cauldron because literally I don't think I've ever had any friend in my life who I've been able to talk about the Black Cauldron with. Family members, yes, but never a friend.
You said that in the most sad sounding way you could possibly
because,
that was
jeez.
Because the Black Cauldron is highly underrated and more people should talk about it because then maybe I'd get a live action version.
Maybe.
Anyway, come talk to me about the Black Cauldron or come talk to me about fantasy movies in general. I love fantasy. You guys can talk to me on Twitter at Demi_Joie. Joie is spelled Joie. Or you guys can find me on Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled Dreemi. Thanks again for joining us. Tune in next time. Maybe we'll finally get to do our top 5 favorite books/book series.
Don't get your hopes up.
By then, I'll have probably read 2 more books.
At least.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll do that. If not, we'll see.
Sorry.
We don't know.
We're trying.
We're trying.
If Gabby would just cooperate.
Go yell at Gabby. If you want to go yell at Gabby, you can find her on Twitter at The Horny Queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so go there and yell at her to come back. All right, it's been different. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so this is not explicitly a splash zone.
Okay.
It could be splash adjacent.
Great.
But question for Demi.
Oh, God.
Your Achren.
Yeah.
Is she in the race play?
Stop it.
For the record, that was not a no.
I was going to say, that is not a no, audience. Just so...
No, she's not.
Okay,
Shut up.
I just wanted to be clear. I wanted to know what your vision is for this character.
My vision is that... No, that's bad. But also, you guys know that I'm not big on enemies to lovers.
Fair.
However, Achren and Prince Gwydion... I'm just saying, I could maybe...
MILF energy meets DILF energy, according to us.
I feel like I could make that work.
I mean, hey.
Also, our entire Achren section is just a splash zone, by the way. It's just that choice section is just a splash zone.
That's why I said this isn't supposed to be a splash zone, but it might be just
it is now.
by association. Yeah, here we are.